Thanksgiving 2018. I'm going to make a dressing because I don't do stuffing of a bird because of the dangers of salmonella and food poisoning. I do dressing, which is it's like a stuffing, but it's outside of the bird. Now, I do a sausage dressing. And I use 2 pounds of sausage. Now usually most recipes call for 1 pound, but I like the sausage in my dressing. So what I'm gonna do is I take a frying pan, 12-inch frying pan. And cut off the end here, and I squeeze it out. Now, recipes are a guideline. You can make as little or as much as you want. I put that in, and what I do is I start it on medium-high heat, and we'll go along, and I'll show you how it is in stages here. Now the sausage here is browning, and you can tell the liquid's coming out, the fat and everything, and it still has some more cooking to do. We'll let that cook down, and when it's finished I'm gonna put it in a bowl, and then do the other ingredients. Sausage is ready. What we're gonna do is I lean it to one side so that the fat can run off, and I push the sausage. I put the sausage in here, container, so it can cool down, because what we're going to do is we have to make the other ingredients. Now you can see how much fat there is in there. We don't want that in there. So I'm gonna wash this up. We're going to wash that because we need this frying pan for the other ingredients. I put in some olive oil in the pan, approximately 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And what we're going to put in first is 3 cups of celery. So we put in 3 cups of celery. And we're going to cook this for a few minutes, and then we're going to add in 3 cups of onion. Oops. After about 2 minutes of cooking, now I always think that celery takes longer to cook than onion. Now we take the 3 cups of onion and we put that in there. Now this is on high heat. I'm using electric here. I prefer gas, but I have to make do with what I have. Gas is better. Gas comes up around the sides of the pan. Electric doesn't. The electric cooks them directly underneath. Now, I'm going to put some salt in here. That will help sweat out the onion. And I'm also going to put in some pepper. Now, I don't measure. I'm always very light on the salt. I'm not a big salt person. You can add more salt if you want. Now the thing is, with kosher salt, it's different than table salt. Table salt, you use less. It's more powerful. So I'm going to let that cook down, and I'll show you when it gets there. It's going to take about maybe 5 minutes or more. Now, you can see how it's coming along. It's breaking down. Now, the reason why we do this is if you don't pre-cook the ingredients, they're going to be too hard. Now, another thing is, I want to have the taste of the turkey come through on the dressing, and what we use is thyme. So we got to put some thyme in, and we're going to put in some rosemary so that the flavor will come through. And this is almost completed. It takes, I would say, a total of 10 minutes for it to get all the flavors in, and for the doneness. And I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Gotta take a break, and gotta take this off the heat and bring it over here to where the sausage is. And I'll put the sausage, the onion and the celery in here. Because the technique here is you want to have it cool when you add in the other ingredients, the bread and the other things. So we want this to cool down a little, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to let it cool down, and then we'll go on to the next part. Now we're ready to put the other ingredients in to our dressing. What I do is I take a whole loaf of bread, white bread, and we put the white bread into our bowl. Now I use a big bowl here. And what I do is I use chicken stock. And I open this up. What I do is I pour the chicken stock over the bread. Now, I use my fingers for the mixing. This is why you want it to cool down, is because you don't want to burn your fingers. So we mix this in. We want to break up the bread. Now I almost used the whole amount. We want this to be wet. Now I didn't use the whole container of the chicken stock. The chicken stock is 32 ounces and I probably used about 3/4 of it in mixing it. And that's it. That's all we do. We mix this in. And I'll show you how we put it in the container that we're going to cook it in. It's very easy to do. Wash your hands off. And I'll show you what to do next. This is what I'm going to cook the dressing in. And what I do is I take some butter and the bottom and the sides with butter so it doesn't stick. We do this. We take the dressing and we put it in. And we put that in. Now we have the turkey cooking, but we don't put this in yet. We want to put this in when it's, this takes a little over an hour to cook. Because we want it to be a little crispy on the top. And that's how we do it. And you can see how easy it is. Now here is the completed dressing. It was in the oven for approximately an hour and a half. And that's how it looks.